Hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here for today's training. My name is Joanne Hayward, and if you are a non native English speaking professional ready to elevate your English to a leadership position, you're totally in the right place. So, today we're going to talk about something that makes even the most ambitious professionals nervous: speaking spontaneously in English. So, with over just a brief introduction, with over a um, bu- um, decade of in business, I have helped over 40 students weekly with their confidence and authority. Directly assisted over 50 professionals into promotions or new roles. My background in international finance in London and Dubai, combined with my expertise as a fully qualified and experienced English teacher, gives me a unique perspective. So now let's think about it. Have you ever been in a room, a meeting, or an interview where someone suddenly asks you a question and your mind goes blank? You knew the answer, but you started rambling or struggling to find the right words. You are not alone, and this is exactly why this session is for you. Let me share a story. One of my clients, I'll call her Anna. I don't like giving out names because some people don't want people to know that they're getting help with their English. Um, she's an IT manager, brilliant, talented, but whenever someone asked her a question in English during a meeting, she would panic. She'd lose her point, and afterwards she would say, "I sounded so unprofessional." 3 weeks into our coaching, I taught her a simple 4-step framework. The next time she was asked a tough question, she used it. And instead of panicking, she delivered a clear, concise answer. One of her colleagues even told her, "Wow, that was amazing." The difference was not in her accent, nor her vocabulary, nor indeed her grammar. It was the method that I'm going to teach you today. So, what is the PrEP formula? It's a very simple framework. P for point. Start with your clear answer. R for reason. Explain why you believe that. E, an example. Add a short story, data, or situation. And P, point again. Wrap up by repeating your main message. That's it. 4 steps. Easy to remember, and it works in almost every situation. So, prep. P for point. Start with your clear answer. R for reason. Explain why you believe that. E for example. Add a short story, data, or situation. P for point again. Wrap up by repeating your main message. Think about a question you often get asked at work. I have some examples coming up, but while we're going through this, think about what you get asked at work. Maybe something like, "Why should we follow this approach?" Or, "What do you think about this project?" Now, imagine yourself answering it with prep. Point, reason, example, point again. Notice how much clearer and more confident you sound, even just in your own head. So let's have a look at the first example. Meeting decision. Question: should we continue with this strategy? Question. Point. Sorry, I have a wasp buzzing around. Point. P. Point. Yes, we should continue with this strategy. Reason, R, reason, because it's already delivering results without extra costs. For example, Example. For instance, last quarter, our customer retention improved by 15% after we applied it. Point. That's why I recommend we keep moving forward with this approach. How does that sound? Does that sound cool? The I think we should try answer, we can just get rid of that with this PrEP formula. So yes, I believe, as you can see on the screen, yes, I believe this is the best solution. Here's why. For example, so the best way forward is original point. Okay, I have another example here. Project timeline. Question. I know for all of you project managers out there, question. Can we finish this project on time? Point. Yes, we can finish the project on time. Reason. Because we have the right resources and the team is fully aligned. Example. For example, in our last project with a similar scope, we delivered 2 weeks early by following the same process. Point. So I'm confident we meet this deadline as well. Okay? I think you're starting to get into the grips of this, but I'm going to give you another example or two, actually. Why should you lead this presentation? This is a great question for leadership management. Okay, why should you lead this presentation? Point. I should lead this presentation. Reason. Because I have the most direct experience with the client's requirements. Example. For instance, I have been handling their account for the past 12 months and understand fully their expectations. Point. That's why I'm best placed to take the lead on this. Giving feedback. How did the new process go? The new process worked very well. Reason. Because it reduced unnecessary steps and saved the team time. Example. For example, reports that used to take 3 days now take just 1. Point. So I'd say the new process is a clear improvement. Now, this is a really handy technique because what it helps you to do is when you're asked a question in your mind, you just need to answer it first. So it gives you quite a very clear structure. So do you think this? Yes? No? And then you can then move on for the reason, the example, and then the point again to reiterate what you really believe. Okay? So I've just got one more example here. Do you think we should invest in this new tool? I think a lot of people are talking about different AI tools at the moment, and this is a really relevant one for a lot of you. So should we invest in this new tool? Should we? Do you recommend it? I know that you have an opinion on this because you're an expert in your field. So answer the question. Do you think we should invest in this new tool? Yes, I recommend we invest in the tool. Okay, now tell them why. Because I believe it will, not because I believe, because it will improve productivity and reduce costs long term. For example, companies using it have reported saving 20% in operational expenses. That's why it's the best decision for our team. Top tip, PrEP doesn't make your answer longer. It makes it clearer and more persuasive. With practice, you can do a strong PrEP answer in 30 to 45 seconds. So another client of mine used to avoid speaking up in meetings because she was afraid of freezing. She was afraid of not being understood, of tripping up over her words. Once she started using PrEP, she stopped holding back. Within 2 months, her manager asked her to lead a section of the meeting on a regular basis. The truth is, it's not about having perfect English. It's about having structure. Prep gives you the structure, and with it, authority. Key reminder: prep is just one tool, but in real business life, you need a whole set of strategies for different situations: presentations, negotiations, job interviews, whether you're leading them or attending them, team leadership. This is what I teach inside my 6-month mastery course. Together, we build your confidence, practice real life scenarios, and make sure that you are ready for anything that comes your way. So, if this resonates, I'd love to share more. Just reach out and I will send you the details. Clarity is much more important than perfection. I'm going to say that again. Clarity, clear communication is much more important than perfect communication. So, prep actually gives you the confidence under pressure. So, I have given you some examples. I do actually have a worksheet kind of thing with all of the summary of this information. So, if you want that, I haven't got a page on my website or anything. I just have a PDF. If you want it, reach out and say, yes, I want the sheet, and I will send it to you just as a PDF. So please feel free to reach out and contact me if you'd like a copy of the prep worksheet. And also, if you'd like to find out more about how it will feel like to work with me for 6 months. Okay. Lovely to see you all. Thank you very much for joining. Look out next week for another LinkedIn Live event. Have a great day.